play out in the days ahead, and we do not know whether this marks the downfall of Mugabe or not, and we call for calm and restraint. The events of the last 24 hours are the latest escalation of months of brutal infighting within the ruling ZANU-PF party, including the sacking of a vice president, the purging of his followers, and the apparent positioning of Grace Mugabe as a contender to replace her 93-year-old husband. Honourable members on all sides of the House have taken a deep interest in Zimbabwe over many years, and I pay tribute in particular to the courage and persistence of my friend, I can say that, the Honourable Member for Vauxhall, who has tirelessly exposed the crimes of the Mugabe regime, visiting the country herself during some of its worst moments. And this country, under governments of all parties, has followed the same unwavering principles in our approach towards Zimbabwe. First and foremost, we will never
Mugabe
be strong
from Zimbabwe
and friendship
now
with that beautiful
years
country,
old.
accurately described
How old
as the
is his
jewel
wife?
of Africa. All Britain has ever wanted for Zimbabweans is to be able to decide their own future in free and fair elections. Mugabe's consuming ambition was always to deny them that choice. And this House will remember the brutal litany of his 37 years in office. The elections he rigged and stole, the murder and torture of his opponents,
The elections were rigged.
Land, leading to the worst hyperinflation in recorded history.
Is America turning into a banana republic too?
Points, and forcing the abolition of the Zimbabwean dollar. And all the while, his followers were looting and plundering a richly endowed country, so that Zimbabweans today are per capita poorer than they were in 1980, leaving many dependent on the health care, education and food aid provided by DFID. Britain has always wanted the Zimbabwean people to be masters of their fate and for any political change to be peaceful, lawful and constitutional. Authoritarian rule, whether in Zimbabwe or anywhere else, should have no place in Africa. There is only one rightful way for Zimbabwe to achieve a legitimate government, and that is through free and fair elections held in accordance with that country's constitution. And these elections are due to be held in the first half of next year. And we will do all we can with our international partners
Wednesday
to ensure
the 15th.
this provides a genuine opportunity
now past
to decide their
2 o'clock in
That
the
is what we urge
afternoon.
on all parties. I will speak to the Deputy President of South Africa later
PM, I
today.
guess we don't use that shit.
Every honourable member will follow the scenes in Harare with
it's
goodwill
14,
and sympathy for Zimbabwe's
06.
long-suffering people. And I undertake to keep the House updated as events unfold.
Kate Hoey.
Although Foreign Secretary giving an update on what the UK government knows about the situation in Zimbabwe. To recap, the army
And it's a
says
wet
that President
day
Mugabe has been taken into custody after
outside. It's
gunfire
not actually
near his
raining right now, but
The military has denied carrying out a coup, insisting President
Not a weather
Mugabe
coup.
is safe. His wife
I feel
Grace
like
is believed to have
going
fled
out
the country. So let's have a look back at how
really
this
lazy,
situation
lame.
unfolded in the Zimbabwean capital, Harare.
But
Well, State Capital Mugabe's official
I wanna go
residence
out
is
and get
right
the
in the centre of the
newspaper.
city. Tanks are on the
I mean the
streets
free
surrounding
one
the
with
area.
the Sudoku.
Military vehicles are also said to be blocking roads close to the parliament.
And outside the headquarters of the ruling ZANU-PF
I've
party.
got this.
Troops
Yeah,
go to the
right, I ate
headquarters of the
dinner
National
at Smith's
Broadcasting
place
Centre,
yesterday,
from
and,
where army
as you
general
can
made a
see,
televised statement.
Witnesses are reported hearing
had a
explosions
shave,
near the University of
I had a
Zimbabwe
bath, and
campus.
he had
The
a
army
shave.
headquarters are said to be sealed off with roadblocks outside the barracks of the Presidential Guard in a western suburb.
Just to the northeast of the city is Borrowdale, where President Mugabe's private residence is located. A witness there told the
yeah.
news agency that they heard 30 to 40 gunshots at around
Apparently
2
got into the vodka.
Our foreign affairs editor Sam Kyle reports.
Oh,
We wish to assure the
he
nation
used to assure the
that
nation.
His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe,
Oh, God. Robert
And
Mugabe.
in chief
Christ,
of
this
the
guy
Zimbabwean
must be
forces,
something else. He's
Comrade
93,
R.J.
man.
and his family are safe and sound
My old
and
man's
their
turning
security is guaranteed.
90
Message
here
delivered
next
in
year
a television
November.
takeover.
I
Not
think he was
officially a
born in
coup, but the targeting
1928
of criminals around President Robert Mugabe,
on a leap
focused
year.
in the end on making sure that his wife Grace doesn't take over herself. The army's commander had threatened to step in to calm tensions after 93-year-old
Well, anyway, I'm still
Mugabe
coming down
fired
from
his vice
yesterday.
president.
Yeah, as for all
That
the
triggered a
fruit fly
backlash from the
problems,
older
I mean,
generation
after
of
having
politicians.
eaten at
They see the manoeuvrings by Grace
Smith's place
Mugabe as an
yesterday,
attempt to establish a
and,
dynasty to
I
inherit
have to
power.
say, you know, he is a
General
good cook.
Chiwenga spoke on national radio, saying that he was trying to avoid
They're trying to avoid all kinds of crap. So anyway, there's shit happening. Well, I mean, when is not happening, but stuff like that. And I'm a little bit worried that I'm bringing myself down with, we'll call it fear porn. I don't know. I mean, to say I'm just not very expectant about the next coming events and shit like that, and tend to take a negative view of life. And I suppose that's my diagnosis as having a pre-morbid psyche. I got a piece of paper over there that says so. I no longer work. I'm lame, and at least 75% of my body through probably my own fault, you know. I'm looking at the perspectives now. I mean, to say they talk and they should, and it should be worrisome, but there's a lot of fucking worrisome things in the world today. But one of the things that I find here lately is the worry about all this goddamn electromagnetic smog from our Wi-Fis and smartphones and, you know, shit like that. And what will be the impact of that, like, you know, 50 years down the line? Well, I won't be here 50 years down the line, but nonetheless, I worry. I do have, after all, one child, female, but I have relatives and I worry about their offspring too, so that's it. And I have friends and adopted children and extended family, and of course I worry about their well-being in the future. And things are looking pretty grim from my perspective. I mean, this shit is falling apart. I'm living in a goddamn broke-down palace, I'm telling you. You know, I mean, in more ways than one, you know. But again, you know, what can I say? It's, you know, self-inflicted, I don't know what. I'm lazy, and I live by myself, and the flies are my flies. But yeah, once again, you know, if I'm saying that I'm cultivating Dropsophilia, studying their life cycles in a bachelor environment, and it's quite interesting, I suppose. If one is supposed to have hobbies of any kind, well, this probably can be said to be one of mine. Hobbies. I used to have a cat. That was nice. One cat turned into 49. Jesus Christ, who saw that one coming? You know, I mean, having a cat for 10 years and having on average 10 years or more, you know, on average 4 kittens a year, you know, tend to peter down into her old age. Then one day she took a walk and I never saw her again. Kept trying to tell me something, couldn't figure it out. It wasn't food, that's for sure. I mean, she looked pretty healthy, you know. Just kept belly aching about something, and then one day let her out. She didn't come back. Well, that's the way of cats. I know I owe my neighbor a debt of gratitude in a way. My neighbor Jimmy in there next door, he's a nice guy. I don't think he lives there. It's his girlfriend that lives there, but anyway, he works out here in the yard, and he's, you know, one of the employees of the estate that I live in here in Denmark. Anyway, yeah. I mean, the last time my cat was pregnant, he asked me, because he's got kids and shit like that, if we couldn't borrow the cat, if they couldn't borrow the cat, so the children could experience, the miracle of feline reproduction. But anyway, the cat had its kittens at my neighbor's place, and it had 4 beautiful kittens, and one of them still comes and sees me. It's Gramus Shortail. Yeah, so, but I mean to say, I don't feed it. It just sits out there in the backyard once in a while, along with the other birds and weird things that might fly in and out. Like I said, I've lived here for 20 years. And when I moved in, there was a tree stump, which is long ago rotted away. But it was well into the process of rotting at the time that I moved in. And within the first week of my having an address in this particular location, I noticed something white peeking out of this rotting tree stump in the backyard. Back when my door still worked, went out to investigate, and I found it was a chicken's egg that had been implanted in this rotting center of a tree stump lying around, at grass level, and, quietly rotting away, like I suppose tree stumps do, especially ones that are in the middle of your lawn, if you have a lawn. I could have had a lawn, but I don't have a lawn. But what once might have been a lawn with a tree stump and an egg. And I carefully dug out, and it was a chicken's egg. Now, we have chickens right over here. I mean, what they call hobby hens, I suppose. But, there are, but, if one had gotten out and actually, I don't know if chickens do that, But I seem to have heard in black magical circles, occult shit, witches and the like, that when placing a curse on someone, one could actually go out there and bury an egg in their backyard. I don't know. I can't remember where I heard that. Maybe in some, sword and sorcery fucking story that I used to read a lot of shit there back in my paperback days, back before the internet. But anyway, there you have it. It was a bona fide egg, and I cracked it, and it turned out to be a pretty fresh egg. I mean, it looked edible to me. I just never heard about that sort of behavior in rampant chickens, hens, or whatever. I mean, one might have gotten out and scratched a hole in that there and laid an egg there, although I've never heard of it. But there you have it. I don't have any photographical evidence. This is only anecdotal, as they say. But I swear to God, I remember that egg, and I wondered if some bitch of an ex-wife was trying to put a curse on me. I wouldn't put it past someone. What a thought. Yeah. Oh well, what the hell. Anyway, like I said, it's there's the 15th of November, and it's a wet and boring day, and if I don't get my ass out of gear or into gear right now, the sun's going to go down on me. And, well, that'll be the end of that day. But like we did, we ate yesterday, and Smitten and I had a bath, and we got the razor out, all this shit, and he gave me that fucking mustache. Cream and crap, So I think I'm going to go down and see my old man. he lives on top of a big supermarket, so go down there. I'll try to get rid of all the garbage before I leave. Accumulating all these flies. I'm looking at yesterday's dinner. I think I had mashed potatoes and some kind of a cutlet. And that was after dinner at Smith's. See, the bastard about fucking having dinner at Smith's is I can never remember having ate there. And I have to repeat it later on in order to have some kind of a memory. Apparently my memories have a tendency to accumulate little bitty flies. Oh well. See you later. Keep it real out there. Keep it real. Because it doesn't get any realer than this.